Drug addiction and alcoholism doesn't just affect the person who's addicted. It affects the home, it affects children, it affects mothers, fathers, neighborhoods, all kinds of people impacted by drug and alcohol.
At Bridges of Long Island, turning takers into givers. We're watching people's lives be transformed right before our eyes.
Our residents come in without work, some come without any education, and we try to help steer them into going back to school. We help them set up their goals and objectives so that they can seek employment productively. I've seen guys come in that have had nothing and no one, and a couple of months later they're employed, working on their relationships with their family, and they're feeling real good about where they're going in their life.
1978, I met Bishop Frank Constantino, who was then a deacon in the Episcopal Church. And Bishop Frank spoke a very simple word. And he said that the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior, unless there's a radical transformation of a heart. And he lived that out not only in his own life, but I began to see him live that out, teaching that principle to men and women coming out of jail, coming out of lives of drug addiction, alcoholism, crime, and showing them that what they were facing is not just an addiction problem, but a life problem. And it had to be addressed in a very holistic way, that there was the physical addiction, overcoming the need, the craving for drugs. There was an addictive thinking, and it was a surrendering to the grace that God has to offer. And to prove out that you could do that by bringing men and women into a residential setting, into an aftercare setting, into small groups, into outpatient programs, introduce them to this holistic approach, and their lives began to change.
15 years I've had experience with life-controlling problems, and my involvement with the Cathedral Church of the Intercessor and the vision here of reaching out to those dealing with substance abuse wound up driving us towards a program which is called Bridges of Long Island, which was started by Bishop Frank Constantino in Orlando, Florida. We brought that vision back here to Long Island for Nassau County. In Long Island, we know that 1 out of every 5 homes are affected by substance abuse. That for every 1 person that's actively using, has a life-controlling problem, that directly affects 10 people. And we know that today it's probably the #1 social problem in America.
James Simpson, and I'm a client and yet resident of Bridges of Long Island and their program. I'm here to discuss with you in detail what Bridges of Long Island means to me and what they have done for me in my life. Not only in my life, but they have also impacted the lives of my family members. I came to Bridges of Long Island a few months ago, and I came a broken vessel, a pretty disturbed person. However, I was seeking some level of treatment, in different social areas of my life. And I've gotten there, and the spiritual atmosphere that I have encountered was overwhelming and unparalleled to any other place I've ever gone. I've got to embrace who I really am and learn more intimately about the disease of alcohol and drug addiction. I'm gainfully employed, established a savings account. My family ties has gotten much tighter, and just the camaraderie in the house is just overwhelming. It's just awesome. I love it there, and I will forever be a part of that program.
They are no longer forced into a situation where they immediately have to be exposed to an environment that was so supportive of their failure, but they have the opportunity to coordinate with people in their lives who are caring for them, who are guiding them, who are counseling them, who are providing them with biblical insights, and who are showing them a love that they've never seen before, in helping them to make that transition as easy and, of course, as successful as possible. And we're seeing great success from those who have left our facility after that transition and are now enjoying a fully independent life on the outside.
The most powerful thing about the program for me, it's the people. It's seeing a life go from seemingly hopeless and potentially giving up, regenerate and recover and become a whole person again, someone that can love, someone that can help others.
How you doing? My name is Bobby O'Britis. I work at the Bishop Frank Constantino house for Bridges of Long Island. I always didn't work there. I was a client there. I came there not spiritually broken. I was spiritually bankrupt. I was spiritually dead. I didn't know which way to go. This was my last resort. I was in trouble. I was in the grips of drugs and alcohol real bad. I didn't have a way out. And Father Brett took me into the home. And the minute I got there, I felt the strong presence of God in that house. I couldn't describe it at the time because I was still really spiritually out to lunch, we call it. And finally, I just took a chance within a month. They were going on a men's Christian retreat upstate New Paltz, and I went on that retreat. And that strong presence of God I felt about coming in the Bridge of Long Island got stronger. And up on that retreat, I became born again. I'm no longer broken, I'm healed. And that's a blessing. It's priceless, you know. I can't say enough.
The success is the success of life. I mean, you know, has anybody become president of the United States? No. But have marriages gotten back together? Have men who were in very destructive relationships now have healthy relationships? Have children? Are raising children who aren't involved in drugs and alcohol, who have broken generational patterns. You know, oftentimes you see a young man whose father was an alcoholic, whose grandfather was an alcoholic, and all of a sudden that pattern's broken. And so now that man gets married, has children, and that whole life is eliminated. So the fruit is what I guess people would call normal. That you bring people into normal life. They get jobs, and get a home, get 2 cars, and become usually productive members of the community.
My experience there was quite phenomenal, to say the least. I came in there August 22nd, a little over a year ago, and I'm about to move on any day now. Bridges has enabled me to get my life back, to become employable, become a better man, become a man with God, to feel spirituality, something I've never felt before. I don't know, I was just very well embraced at the house. I felt like I walked into a family I never had before, and I'm going to take that family with me for the rest of my life.
We have pastors throughout the community that are familiar with what we're doing. We have educators and counselors who are familiar with what we're doing, and they're excited about the results of the program, and they now seek to refer some of their clientele to the Bridge program so that their clients can receive some of the benefits that they see others receiving.
You know, talking about men that live in one house that are used to be cradled by filth, and now they're cradled by the Holy Spirit. Sometimes that God presence in that house, it's not even a present. It's almost like God's arms is wrapped around that house, nurturing everybody in it. And we don't give up on people. You know, sure, we're strict. Sure, there's a lot of structure, there's a lot of discipline, but we don't give up on them. We know what it's like to be our brother's keeper today. We know what it's like to go that extra yard when they're falling down to pick them up. And our neighborhood is a lot better that we are there. You could ask our neighbors, you could ask the store owners. You know, it's amazing.
We believe one day there should be a center or transition house in every community that can help that community with their immediate needs. We know as a result of this work and this service that crime rate will be reduced, that insurance costs go down, that house values go up as a result of those who are being helped within their communities. And I think one of the greatest gifts is watching where we plant a house and we begin to do that work. As that house gives back to that community, they become one of the greatest assets in the community. And then the community will get to a place where it realizes it can't function without a house like that. You know, we believe that those who are forgiven much love much. And what we try to do as an organization, as a nonprofit, as a faith-based organization is to teach a positive message. You know, I'm not God, He is God, so let Him do the things that He's supposed to do in my life.